palace officials rehearse the crucial moment when they approach the throne, accompanied by the sound of the nobat. Music and action must be in perfect harmony. The Grand Chamberlain will present the king with the royal regalia, including a ritual dagger called a kris. The king and queen are too busy to attend. Stand-ins will have to do. On the day, timing will be everything. The choreography of this vital moment must be immaculate. The man in charge of rehearsals is the Comptroller, Di-Pertuan Safian. It is Di-Pertuan's first coronation, and he knows he faces a formidable challenge.
Most of us are very eager to face the D-Day, because this is the climax of it.
Malaysia's armed forces will be represented by the elite Royal Armoured Corps, a ceremonial battalion. On Coronation Day, they will be inspected by the King, a former Colonel-in-Chief. Every one of the 600 soldiers must play their part to perfection. The army has a huge advantage over palace staff. Soldiers are used to being drilled. At this stage, the Comptroller walks with a light step. Outside, the court musicians arrive. Just as well, since according to custom, the traditional instruments of the nobat must be played at the coronation of a king.
This is part of the instrument, you know, solely from Terengganu.
Everything is focused on the high point of the drama, the sequence of events when the king is installed. It requires coordination between the palace staff and the nobat and a small brass band who must play the national anthem behind the scenes, its part being taken today by a tape recording. Today, nothing seems to go quite right. The Comptroller orders another run-through. It's just as ragged as before. No one remembers to switch on the recording. But lack of coordination between the different actors and the nobat is giving the Comptroller a real headache. At the end of this first day, he is a worried man.
But we have to have more rehearsals after this. In other words, I'm not exactly happy. I'm not happy on what we've done.
The set isn't ready in the throne room either. Carpenters seize on a gap in rehearsals to complete the raised platform where the sultans will sit on Coronation Day. As the palace prepares for his coronation, the king has his own very busy schedule. Even games of golf are a royal duty. But it's also one of the ways the king likes to relax. It's almost the last opportunity he'll get before the big day. Today, he must play a golf tournament at the Mines, a luxurious new leisure resort in Kuala Lumpur. The king is a golf enthusiast, but today is not just about pleasure. He is leading a team of palace staff against a rival squad from KL Town Hall. This is a bit of light relief in the king's schedule. But soon he'll have to turn his mind to a more serious royal occasion. vital second rehearsal, reinforcements arrive in the shape of the Grand Chamberlain. Tunku Farrokh Hussein will play a key role at the coronation ceremony and be the eyes and ears of the king as the palace prepares. It's 9:30, and the rehearsal begins with a classic army drill. Everyone hopes that the problems at the first rehearsal can be solved with such precision. Time is definitely not on their side. But still, the crucial action in front of the throne refuses to sync up with the Nobat, who play on for much too long. This seems to have a knock-on effect. Still, no one knows when to start the national anthem tape. Yet again, it's a bit of a mess. One problem is that the Nobat's music is sacred and must be treated with care. It's not easy to ask for a change. It's time for a crisis meeting and some tough talk.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okey. Saya minta perhatian semua ni yang terlibat ni. Saya tak mahu kata-kata, saya tunggu ni. Tak payah dulu. Nampak tak? Kita dah tahu. This step, okey. Next, mine. Next, Nobat. Next, military. Jadi you kena tahu dah. Nobody must sleep. Tidak ada seorang pun menyediakan terlalai at any time. That is very, very important. Kita mesti alert at all time. Boleh tak? Boleh clear tak? After this, there is no way mesti perfect dah. Mesti perfect. Tak boleh dah. Tak apalah, besok ada lagi. Tak apa, besok ada lagi. Tak boleh, tak boleh. Saya nak ulang sini. Dengan tadi, kita malu. It's a failure untuk kita. Untuk kita lah. Bukan failure apa. Tidak ada koordinasi. No coordination. Betul tak? Kita independent. Kita independent. Tak boleh. Ni kita nak lepas ni perfection. Boleh faham sama tak? Boleh faham tak? Boleh faham tak?
One has got to be to coordinate.
That meeting lasted most of the afternoon. With just 3 days to go before the coronation, the most important moment, the dramatic climax itself, is still not right.
You tape Wiko tak masa yang sebenar. Berapa masa sebenar? Berapa ni?
Next comes the full dress rehearsal, and this time the palace staff are aware of a very important visitor.
The rehearsal on the 24th, the king and the queen will be coming. So both their majesties will see us from upstairs.
As the comptroller and his team sweat it out at the palace, other vital ceremonial ingredients are being prepared. Kuala Kangsar, some 250 kilometres north of Kuala Lumpur, on the banks of the Perak River, is a royal town, home to the Sultan of Perak. His opulent palace dominates the landscape. Not surprisingly, the people of Kuala Kangsar have a special relationship with the Malaysian royal families. Here for over 30 years, a small company of expert craftsmen has been making royal regalia and then maintaining them in perfect condition. They are always very busy before a coronation. For 5 weeks, they have been repairing and polishing all the regalia for the king's coronation. Now their work is almost complete. The royal regalia reflect the traditions and heritage of the sultans. Today, the craftsmen are preparing the chokma, or royal maces. They are modelled on old war clubs and are cast entirely of silver.
Each kingdom would have its own regalia. That comes from an older tradition. So when you have a king of kings, you needed your own regalia, the regalia of the king. So they created and regalia of the king out of the tradition that was already embedded in each of the kingdoms. So for example, the kris that is part of the Yang Di-Pertuan Agong's regalia, that kris was made of 11 krises from different states of the original Malaya, and they brought and forged a new kris.
The regalia leaves Kuala Kangsar in time to reach the Royal Palace in Kuala Lumpur for the dress rehearsal. To avoid any possible embarrassment, it heads for the federal capital under police escort. It's the day of the dress rehearsal, and the king arrives for a progress report. He will be watching the run-through from a hidden position. In the throne room, the tension is palpable. And this time, all goes well. The timing of the music and action are near perfect. Behind the scenes, the players are being closely watched, and not just by the cameras. The rehearsal is over, but what does the most important person of all make of it? National Geographic are summoned to a brief and impromptu royal press conference.
A few things need to be rectified. I think overall it went really well. Yes, it's only a minor things.
Next, the king pays a visit to the throne room. It appears that he has a number of suggestions to make.
I asked them to make some only minor changes. The curtains behind the throne, but I look at the curtain, it's not properly been drawn, and then there's a camera lens jutting out from the from the curtain. So I thought it was quite obvious, seeing from upstairs, like I'm seeing from the audience point of view, on TV. So I thought, they should do something about it.
Everything is ready at last. Well, almost. In these last hours, more than 400 gifts for the VIP guests must be perfectly wrapped. A final tour of the palace must plump every cushion and perfect every last detail. The waiting is almost over. It's the night before Coronation Day. There's less than 15 hours to go before the ceremony begins. But there's one latecomer, one key member of the cast still to be rehearsed. This is the king's 9-year-old son, Tunku Mohammed Ismail, who is the regent of Terengganu while his father serves as king. He attends a school abroad and has flown up just in time to be briefed. Exactly where to sit and what to do. Protocol dictates that adults must address the regent at his own height.
And they showed me where I was supposed to sit and what I was supposed to do. I wasn't worried. They make me feel calm.
For tonight, what he needs is a good night's sleep. So it's time to leave with his older sister for his home and bed. The meeting proves worthwhile. It's revealed a last-minute problem.
bila dia duduk tu, dia kecil, dia jauh ke belakang. Jadi kaki dia macam tergantung.
Footrest. Tak ada mata-mata lagi belakang tak ada.
Sebab kalau orang lain
Pusing besar.
boleh, sebab dia small size. Jadi bila dia duduk, dia punya kaki dia tak sampai.
Pusing besar lah.
Kata
Tak apa, tuan aku kejap je. Berapa lama? Tak boleh kejap. Lama boleh kan?
lama
Lama.
Tapi takut nanti bila tuanku pemangku berangkat tiba nanti dia ikut tangga ni tadi tu.
Tak beritahu.
Tak beritahu dah kan? Dia kena lalu.
Saya tak tahu nama dia. Kadang tak nama tarik dia.
Takut lalu depan tu ada
Ada
orang.
beritahu dah 2 kali dia tahu ni. Dia tangga je. Tak. Saya suka nama.
It's Coronation Day. At the Istana Negara, the National Palace, a metal armada of cars begins to pour through the gates. Hundreds of VIP guests are expected to arrive from all over Asia. Parking 200 top-of-the-range limousines is a valet's dream. The ceremonial guard must prepare for the king's arrival. For their officers, improvements can always be made. Precisely on time, the king sets off on a short but historic journey to the National Palace. He is flanked by motorcycle men in black, part of a crack security unit trained to defend the king at all costs. At the palace, his first duty is to inspect the ceremonial guard. Last-minute sound and vision checks are being made. The coronation will be transmitted live on Malaysian television. Millions of viewers will be watching. As the appointed hour approaches, the finishing touches are applied. The Grand Chamberlain makes one more last-minute check. The royal regalia arrived safely from the workshop in Kuala Kangsar. Now they are handed to the warriors, who will protect the king as he enters the throne room. Inside the throne room, the VIP guests are gathering. Heads of state, foreign diplomats, prominent business people, and even a superstar. Then the sultans are announced. One by one, the rulers of the Malay states take up their places. Among them, the young regent of Terengganu, holding his own among some very grand people. For the prince, it's a very special day off school. He will remember his feelings at this moment for a lifetime.
Proud, happy, and excited.
And finally, the last act of the drama begins.
As I recall, walking down the aisles towards the throne, I felt a lot of responsibility. It's a heavy burden I have to carry. It's a big responsibility, and I have to do it well. And that's how I felt at that time. Even now, I'm still feeling it.
The Nobat plays Tuanku Mizan to the throne. After that, the Grand Chamberlain recites from memory his ceremonial greeting. It's the turn of the Grand Chamberlain to present the king with a ceremonial dagger, the Kris Panjang Di Raja, the most important piece of regalia, which symbolizes the power and authority of the king.
Normally, this is practice for the Agong to pull out the kris and kiss the kris. What I did was, I just bring the kris up to my forehead as my way of accepting the kris. The kris itself symbolizes the power of the king on his subjects and as the protector of the land.
Tuanku Mizan pledges an oath to the nation.
Mereka akan menjalankan seadil-adilnya pemerintahan bagi Malaysia mengikut undang-undang dan perlembagaan negara serta memelihara dengan sempurna setiap masa agama Islam dan berdiri teguh di atas pemerintahan yang adil dan aman dalam negara.
Daulat Tuanku. Daulat Tuanku. Daulat Tuanku. Daulat Tuanku. Daulat Tuanku. Daulat Tuanku.
Praises to them. I think they've done really well. I'm very proud of them.
I have full confidence in himself, in Tuanku, to carry out his duty as Yang Di-Pertuan Agong, the King of Malaysia. InsyaAllah.